Good evening. Welcome to Beside Still Waters. Outside, we're not by water, but we're outside where it's still. Good evening. I'm Melissa Gabler, sitting in for Dad Marty Gabler this evening. So, hi. Good evening. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the picnic. I chose a scene that I personally find extremely peaceful, which is the woods. And I'm sure you could probably hear all the lovely crickets and locusts. I don't know about you, but there's something so warm about that to me. I guess just growing up in the summers, having a good time and hearing locusts at night, it just takes you back to summers of childhood, I guess, because that was when I spent the most time outside. Well, welcome aboard, everybody. Hi, sister. So, Beside Still Waters, once again with Melissa Gabler, out here outside in the peaceful evening. And before we get started, let me just say, if any of you see Sasquatch starting to walk out of those woods, I'd appreciate you letting me know, because I'm about to get in the zone. So here we go. I was thinking about tonight, and I would ask for a show of hands. Anybody just feeling it? Anybody feeling the burn right now? Anybody feeling anything but stillness in their life? So, show of hands. I can just say to you, I'm telling you, I don't know anybody that's not. I have had one conversation after the other of people feeling what's the word? Just the turmoil. Like that. Just absolute, the fight is real. The struggle is real. Kind of thing. And I got to thinking about last time I spoke on here, I spoke about resting. And, Psalm 23, which he leads me beside still waters. I see that hand. Absolutely. You're feeling the fight, feeling the struggle. And I thought about that again, and I thought, wait a minute, I want to pull that into what I'm talking about tonight, which last time I remember asking, have you tried resting? And I thought about that, and I thought, have I? And yeah, there have been moments of trying the rest side of it, but it didn't go so well. So because there's so much going on, because the atmosphere is really electrified and there's a lot going on, and like I said, when you keep getting phone call after phone call of people just struggling and needing encouragement, and you're all feeling it, something's up. When we're all feeling it together, something major is up. And so what I started to realize is that rest that I talked about last time, I see it in a different light. And that's really why I wanted to come to you, because I know so many of you are feeling this pressure, you're feeling this push, you're feeling this almost overwhelming, if not overwhelming, in every aspect of life, whether it be your finances, your family, work, whatever. You're feeling this overwhelming pressure. And it hit me tonight, literally almost right before I pushed start, that the rest that I'm talking about really isn't just go lay in a hammock, which sounds wonderful, but that's not the rest that we need to be in right now. And last time I brought up again, I don't study the Hebrew calendar, don't have anything against it, but I don't just study it. But I saw somebody post something about the month of August being called between the narrow straits. And my way of explaining that is between the rock and the hard place. And the point was making your way through these narrow straits to the promises that are on the other side. And that sounds beautiful. But I tell you what, have your narrow straits been getting more and more and more narrow as the month has gone on? Because I don't know the exact dates on the Hebrew calendar. Was it a week? Was it 2 weeks? Because it feels like it's been more intense and the fire's gotten hotter the whole month of August. Those straits have just narrowed and narrowed and narrowed. I know you're feeling it. I know you're dealing with it. And I'm also here to tell you and encourage you, you're close. It doesn't have anything to do with September 1st. It has everything to do with what God is doing. Now let me explain that. This rest I'm talking about at this point is a position. And I'll tell you what I saw last night after, it has been one conversation after the other, people just dealing with it. And last night when I got off the phone, I saw that a picture of a flame, and it had been turned hotter, but it was the Lord that upped the fuel on that flame. And what I began to realize was, then he showed me another picture of I saw myself standing in this muck, looking like tar, globs of just tar, nasty. And the picture pulled back, and what he showed me was I was at the bottom. I was at the bottom level of my soul, where there was just this layer of muck. And the beauty is, I realized what had happened is this had been dealt with, and we were down to this right here, that bottom layer of muck. And the Lord showed me that's why the flame was turned hotter, was to deal with that junk that has built up on the bottom and been on the bottom of the soul this whole time. And that's what the pressing is, y'all. That's what the pressing has been. That's what this has been. It has been dealing with the soul to where we get to the absolute root of what has been the problem and get to the absolute root. Look at these little suckers. See? Noisome pestilence. But that's what this pressing has been, and why it is narrowed is because we're getting down to the root of what's in our soul. That's why it has intensified this month. And then here's another piece. Let me throw this other little piece on. After the Lord showed me that, then he warned me. The enemy is trying to take advantage while you're in this place of pressing through to your breakthrough. The enemy's trying to take advantage of you and your vulnerabilities while you're doing what you were meant to do, while you're pressing through like you were meant to press through. The enemy's been trying to mess with you. And I know I'm talking to very specific people. But here's the thing. He's caught now. He's caught now, so he doesn't get to just keep adding on to what's going on in your life, to the freedom that God is bringing you to. The enemy doesn't get to play his role. So I'm telling you right now, he's caught and it's over. And you get to stop him. You get to stop it right now tonight where you are. Let him know you're caught. You back off. I will finish this race and win. I will finish through these narrow straits to my breakthrough, and you won't stop me. I see your tricks. You're caught and you're done. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down to the narrowest part of this strait, heading into promises. Okay, I'm going to say it again. We are at the narrowest part of this season, heading into our promises. So don't give up now. So now let me go back to where I was at the beginning, talking about the rest. There is a position that we need to take in this rest. And the rest I'm talking about is Psalm 91. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. That's where the rest is. Trusting in God that is pulling you through a place that's taking you out of historical cycles, taking you out of defeat, taking you out of all of the things that are trying to stop you. Whether it be of your own doing, your family, whether it be of the enemy coming against you. That's what that pulling through is. That's what that narrowing down is God is bringing us to a place of tremendous victory. Tremendous victory. And so, in doing that, here's where your position needs to be from here on out. When I took self-defense, they taught us a very important position for the moment that you knew you were going to go into a one-on-one fight. You know, somebody's in your face, it's about to get ugly, it's about to get real. the very first thing that you do is you drop your chin. You drop that chin and you get those hands immediately ready, whether it be to block, whether it be to counter. But let me tell you about dropping the chin. The reason you drop that chin is because if a punch does get through and you're behind these hands, the bulk of what they're going to get is here. This is a hard part of your body. But if your chin is up, you see the difference here? My hand's here and my face is up going at an attack. If I get hit here, if I open this up to the enemy, it's extremely sensitive. It's extremely sensitive, and it's probably going to knock me down, knock me out, mess with my thinking, mess with my reaction. But if you will drop that chin, take the position of dropping that chin, getting those hands up, you're a lot more likely that if you get hit, it's just going to daze you a little bit. It's not going to knock you out like a full-on in the nose and the mouth and the eyes. And I'll tell you, this morning, I had a real come to Jesus last night. I mean, big time come to Jesus. Awesome time with the Lord. And I saw, I just went to bed in peace going, Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to get through this narrow straight and leave that stuff behind. No longer react like I used to. No longer do things like I used to do them. And so went to bed in a great mood last night and just had a wonderful time with the Lord. And then this morning I get up, I'm getting ready, and my subconscious goes back to its norm, 100 miles an hour, coming up with scenarios that have never happened, but I better be prepared just in case they do. I better be prepared with an answer, better be ready to fight just in case these things happen today. And all of a sudden, in the midst of that chaos in my subconscious, I heard, drop your chin. And what I knew was, I was open. I was open to the enemy's attack to knock me out. Drop your chin. And it happened, y'all. It's such a habit for my subconscious to just take over when I'm just doing my norm. But every time I'd start that, I would hear, drop your chin. And I thought, my God, thank you. Because it would immediately stop that subconscious cycle and take me to, look what's happening. Don't leave your face open for the enemy. Don't leave yourself open for the enemy to attack and knock you out. Get in your defensive position. Drop your chin, put your hands up, and be ready to fight. That's the position of rest I'm talking about. You're not going at it. You're not fighting 100 miles an hour. You're not out of breath. You're just walking along. You're finishing this time of narrow straits. You're almost to your promises. You're almost to that new place, but you're in the position. So if he tries to sneak up on you, even if he gives you a hit, you're ready to come right back. You're not going to be knocked out. So people, drop your chin. We're almost there. I'm telling you, we are at breakthrough. Like a dear, dear friend of mine that emailed, who is just, I don't have time to go into what she's dealing with, but it's been life-altering. She's been feeling this press. And we talked about this. We talked about what's going on. We're at breakthrough. And her answer was, well, then I need to put my war paint back on. That's your position of rest tonight. Drop your chin. Put that war paint on. Get those hands up. And finish out these narrow straits. I'm telling you, it's time to see the breakthrough. But this is real, y'all. This is the kind of stuff we've been talking about for a while. This is the kind of stuff we've been asking the Lord for a while. We're there. So if I might tonight just say, tonight when you get ready to go to bed, take a deep breath. Trust, just trust you're there, and release what the Lord puts his finger on. It's time to release. It's time to drop that chin. It's time to finish and see what's just on the other side. I love the peaceful sound. Let me pray for you. Father, I thank you. I thank you for our friends. I thank you for our family. Even though I know so many of them have been going through trial, hard, pressing, smothering trial. Lord, I thank you that you are so faithful, that you have been here the whole time, and that you have been faithful to pull us through, leaving the old behind. That's been part of the plan. You've put your finger on what the enemy's doing. And Lord, right now I'm asking you to open our family's eyes, open our friends' eyes to see what the enemy is trying to take advantage of in this season of change and breakthrough. It's time to see what the enemy has been tormenting you with, because you can deal with it right now tonight and never have to deal with that again. Eyes open to see what the Lord is putting his finger on and what the enemy's trying to hinder. I speak that over you tonight. But most of all, I say peace be still to your hearts and to your minds. It's time to rest. It's time to push through. It's not time to give up. It's time to push through. You're almost there. And I speak peace to you and your household. And I speak sleep over you tonight, knowing that there is a God you can trust that has set it all up. He's been setting you up for victory. Good night, everybody. Sleep well.